Hey guys, my name is Nicholas. We're here at Rave Home Staging where I work. Recently we got a Sawstop. We have a wood shop we're setting up where we build and I also refinish or refurbish any of the furniture used in staging that gets damaged. Because it's moved consistently, that can be an issue from time to time. So we put together a little video on the assembly of the Sawstop, the unboxing, and we're going to give a couple of viewpoints on, I guess, a review of use after a few weeks. All right, so when we first got the Sawstop, I think it was ordered online and it came about a week later. They delivered it to the loading dock on a pallet, brought it back here, and then you'll see the unboxing from there. Everything was packaged really, properly and everything was tight. Nothing was shifting around, a whole lot of movement. And, when I pulled everything out and we got it assembled at the end, almost everything was aligned perfectly out of the box. Double checked it, of course, but it's really packaged well. All right, so we've had the Sawstop about a month. I've been using it. I don't really have a lot or any huge negatives that I would attribute to it. It's a well-made saw. It's somewhere in the $2,000 range. It's not a cheap saw, so you kind of expect it to be well-made, and it is. Everything from the finish to the logistics of use on it and how everything goes. I will say that recently I was at Woodcraft and I saw the same saw, which is the contractor type, right? But this one has the upgraded fence. That one did not. And I will say that I'm really glad that we did go with the upgraded T-Glad fence on this one. It's not something I would have had any way to compare. You can't really see it in person until you order it and have it in front of you. But having seen it at Woodcraft, I'm glad we did go with the upgraded fence system. I think it makes a big difference. The fence markings are really clear on this. I have a contractor saw at home. It's not a Sawstop, but it's just not as clear. I don't know if the numbers are bigger or what exactly it is. I can't specifically place it, but it's different, and this is better than what I've used previously. I noticed it. It's got a lot of the other features that are great. If it starts to bog down, you're not going to burn the motor up. It's going to shut off, and it's going to give you an error code, which you can go right to the manual, and it'll tell you, hey, what went wrong, how to reset it, how to know if it's been long enough where it's cooled down, you can reset it. So it's really thought out. They really did a good job on the engineering of this thing. They didn't just say, oh, let's throw a contractor saw and let's just throw this one thing on top of a pre-existing model. They really thought this through. And I think they did a good job with it. The other thing I would say is, it being in that large price range on the end of a contractor saw or a table saw for a good-sized wood shop, it's worth it. They have that safety system, which is amazing, and it's pretty exclusive to Sawstop at this point. And even without it, I would still definitely put this in a $1,000 range of table saws, even without that. And I would say that it's worth the other $1,000 for that, because I don't know about you, but my fingers are worth at least $100 a piece. So some of the things that I've seen in other videos where guys kind of notate that they weren't happy with or they were kind of disappointed in is that it doesn't come with cast iron wings. Well, you can buy cast iron wings for it. It comes with stamped steel, and I think they're really nice. And I mean, yes, cast iron, of course, wings would be great. And if it's one of those added luxuries that you want, then you can always add it. But guys are kind of bummed out that it doesn't come with them. But these aren't bad by any stretch of the imagination. They don't give me any issues. They don't have any flex to them. You know, they weren't hard to level out with the iron table. Nothing like that. The fence is an upgrade, but it's a good one. You know, it's one that's, in my opinion, worth it. And when it comes time to change the blade guard assembly out for just the riving knife for a non-through cut, for instance, it's really easy to do that. It's not a real laborious process, and a lot of times, safety-wise, we end up skipping things because it's an extra step or because it takes 45 seconds and you don't really feel like doing it. And sometimes that inconvenience can be the difference in an injury or not. So those type of things, and even though it's a Sawstop, you still want to be safe. Man, I still use, you know, a push stick, which they give you a good one. It's got a good length on it. It's, you know, it's got a good handle. It's comfortable. It feels good in your hand. You know, there's always additional push blocks and stuff to use as well. But staying aligned and being safe, regardless of the Sawstop feature, you know, all the other things I feel like you should still do. I'm kind of a safety conscious guy. My dad's got 9 fingers, so that kind of reinforced that don't get too comfortable. You know, it's a Sawstop, I get it, it's supposed to stop. But what if for some reason on this day you left the bypass on and you didn't realize it and you got too slack with your safety? Well, now you're in a spot. So be careful, but yeah, it's a great feature. It's definitely an exclusive and the best safety feature on the market right now for table saws, and the first big change in table saw technology in probably 30 years. You know, before, I think it was invented initially in like the late 90s, but previous to that, you know, it's the first big move they've made for table saws in general. It's also a really quiet saw. I have a contractor saw at home. It's set up the same way as far as how the motor's mounted and everything else, like a standard contractor saw. This one's pretty quiet, even by those standards. It doesn't have that vibration to it, which is, you know, you'd kind of expect it to not. I would say, although I've not done it, I would say it would probably pass the nickel test with no problem. I've got a 25-year-old rigid at home that I've gotten to do this, so I'm pretty sure this one has surpassed that one quite a bit. It's also very versatile as far as accessories, add-ons, and, you know, supplements to the way it comes. If you want to add overarm dust collection or a router table or the panel for dust collection on the back, you know, the professional cabinet saw and the job site saw are both great, but I think this one has the most options in that regard. And I've just gotten no real issues with it after a few weeks of using it. I can't really complain. I know that most everyone has a gripe or two here and there, but I've not found anything that I dislike. I think there are a few things that maybe could have been done possibly a little better, but they don't stick out in my mind, like even when I think about it. And even so, nothing is bad or, you know, low quality. There's none of that. Like, it's just a really well-made machine. And I mean, I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for something in that realm. All right, so again, I'm Nicholas at Rave. This is our Sawstop. That was a quick little review on it. We may pop back in a couple months, most likely, and do an updated review, kind of a little more experience on our belt and time with the Sawstop if there's anything new that comes up. May additionally do some build videos or how-tos, and who knows. So if you would, just give us a follow, check us out, and we'll see where it goes from here.